The desert road stretched far and silent, the air heavy with the smell of dust and fading light. A lone human traveler walked carefully, his boots sinking into the sand with every step. He carried only a small pack and a half-empty water flask. The sun dipped lower, painting the sky in red and gold. Soon the desert would give way to night, and night in this place was never safe. He reached the edge of a strange village just as the sky began to turn purple. The homes were made of stone and crystal, glowing faintly like trapped starlight. At first glance, the village looked abandoned. But then shadows moved. Curious eyes peeked out from narrow windows. Whispered voices carried through the air. Their tones were filled with both fear and hope. The traveler stopped at the center of the village. He raised a hand in peace. He was not here for trouble, but for shelter. He was just a man crossing unknown lands, yet the way the villagers stared at him made his heart uneasy. A group of elders finally stepped forward. Their robes shimmered with faint silver threads. The tallest one, his skin pale like moonlight, spoke softly, "Human, you came at the right time." Before the traveler could answer, a small sound reached his ears. It was the cry of children, thin and weak, the sound of empty stomachs and tired bodies. From behind the elders, small alien children appeared. Their eyes were large and glowing faintly blue, their frames fragile, their movements slow. They looked hungry, far too hungry. One little girl stepped forward. Her hair shimmered like glass strands, and her voice trembled as she spoke. "Feed our children." "Human!" Her words struck him like an arrow. She did not beg for herself, she begged for them all. The traveler opened his pack slowly. He had little food, dried fruit, a few pieces of bread, some smoked meat. But he looked at their hollow eyes and knew he could not refuse. He knelt and offered the food to the children. They hesitated at first, then rushed forward. Their small hands shook as they took pieces, eating quickly, their glowing eyes softened with relief. But the human noticed something strange as the children ate. The elders watched him with deep intensity. They were not only grateful, they were waiting for something more. The traveler felt their gaze like weight on his shoulders. He asked, his voice steady, "Why do your children starve? When you have fields and homes?" The elder shook his head slowly. "We cannot feed them." The human frowned. "Why not? What curse holds you?" The elder's voice dropped lower like a whisper carried on the wind. "It is not our place to say. Not yet, only when night falls will you understand. Only then will you see the truth." The traveler looked at the horizon. The last light of the sun faded fast. The desert sky turned darker. Shadows stretched long and thin. The village grew silent. Children still chewed their last bites, but even they glanced nervously toward the black line of the forest beyond. The alien girl, her face glowing with innocence and fear, tugged at the human's sleeve. "Please do not leave us when darkness comes. Stay until night, then you will see why we asked. Then you will receive what is promised." Her words made him pause. He felt a strange mix of pity and suspicion. A gift? From starving children? From desperate elders? What could they possibly give him? And why only when night falls? The human wanted answers, but none came, only silence. Only the distant cry of night birds. He stayed. Not out of greed, but out of curiosity. And perhaps a sense of duty. Something in the children's eyes reminded him of his own past, the years when he had known hunger and kindness given by strangers. He could not walk away. The elders whispered among themselves, their voices carrying strange words. The air grew colder, and the ground beneath his feet seemed to hum softly. The villagers lit small crystal lamps, their glow weak but steady. The entire village gathered in the central square. Circling around the human, he felt their fear but also their hope. He asked again, more firmly, "What is it you want from me? Why wait for night?" The elder stepped close, his glowing eyes sharp as blades, his voice low but clear. "Feed our children, human, and we will give you a shocking gift, but only when night falls." The traveler's heart thudded in his chest. Suspense wrapped around him like the coming darkness. The desert wind howled, carrying the scent of something wild, something hidden. The children clung to him as if he were their only shield. And in that moment, under the last trace of dying light, the human understood one thing. He had stepped into a mystery larger than himself, a request that carried both danger and promise. Night was coming fast, and with it the unknown. The children's small hands trembled as they ate the food the human had given. Their glowing eyes flickered with strange light, blue like moonlit water. They chewed fast, afraid the food might disappear if they slowed down. The traveler watched them carefully, his heart heavy with pity. He had known hunger before, but the way these children devoured each bite was something deeper. The village around him remained silent. The elders stood in a circle, their faces unreadable. They did not touch the food. They made no move to join the children. Instead, they stared at the human as though watching a test unfold before their very eyes. One boy lifted his gaze from the bread in his hands. His cheeks hollow, his voice small. More? The word carried a sound that was not only hunger, but also hope. The traveler swallowed hard. He opened his pack again, knowing his supplies would not last long. Still, he gave them more. The boy smiled weakly, his glowing eyes fixed on him like a spark in the dark. As the children ate, the traveler noticed something strange. Their eyes grew brighter with each bite. Not just brighter, but sharper, as if a hidden fire burned inside them. It was not the look of ordinary hunger. It was something else. Something hidden behind those stares. The alien girl who had first spoken to him sat closest. She ate little, only a piece of fruit, but her eyes never left his face. Every time his gaze moved away, he could still feel her watching. He shifted uncomfortably. Why do you look at me like that? He asked softly. The girl lowered her fruit and whispered, because you fed us and now you are part of it. Her words puzzled him. Part of what? The question twisted inside his mind. The villagers gave no answer. Their silence was heavier than words. The wind changed, carrying a scent of damp earth. Though no rain had fallen, the desert always smelled dry, but now it smelled alive. The human glanced at the horizon. The forest line swayed gently, shadows crawling across the ground. It was as if the night itself waited. Holding its breath, children finished their food, but none of them left his side. They huddled close, their eyes reflecting the fading light like tiny lanterns. Some even touched his coat, their fingers delicate and trembling. They seemed to cling to him, as though his presence gave them safety. The traveler asked again, more firmly this time, "Why do you not feed them yourselves?" His voice was sharp, but still steady. The elder stepped forward, his silver-threaded robe catching the dying light. His tone was heavy. "We cannot, human. If we feed them, nothing changes, but when you feed them, everything begins." The man frowned. His confusion growing, he glanced again at the children, their glowing eyes unblinking, staring as if they were measuring him. He felt as though he was no longer a traveler in this place, but a piece of some ritual he did not understand. The girl tugged his sleeve again, her voice barely above a whisper. "Do not fear them, they only wait. They wait for the night." The words sank into him like cold water. He thought of leaving, of stepping back into the desert before the shadows fully swallowed the land. Yet the look on the children's faces stopped him. Their thin bodies, their glowing eyes, their quiet hope, it held him in place. The villagers began lighting crystal lamps again. Their glow was weak, not enough to push back the dark, but enough to cast long shapes on the ground. The air thickened, filled with the sound of whispers. The traveler could not understand the language, but he felt the weight of their meaning. The boy who had asked for more leaned closer. His voice carried a strange tone, deeper than before. "When night comes, you will see." The human stiffened. How could a starving child speak with such certainty? His skin prickled as if touched by unseen hands. He looked at the elders, demanding answers, but they only lowered their heads. The forest beyond the village seemed alive. Dark shapes moved between the trees, not animals, not wind, something else. The children turned their glowing eyes toward it, their bodies still as though waiting for something long promised. The traveler's heartbeat grew louder. He realized the food he had given was not just to fill their bellies. It was the start of something larger, something he had unwillingly set in motion. The girl looked at him again, her gaze sharp as a blade. "You fed us, human, now you cannot leave. The gift is waiting." Her words sent a shiver through his chest. A gift, he thought again, but at what cost? The sky was almost black now. Stars pricked through the darkness, and the moon rose like a pale ghost. The children's eyes glowed brighter under its light. Their stares followed him wherever he moved. He felt trapped, not by chains, but by their quiet hunger, their silent expectation. He tightened his grip on his empty pack. His food nearly gone, his body tired, but his mind restless. He wanted to ask again, to demand answers. But the sound of the forest cut him short. A low hum, deep and vibrating, rolled from the trees. The children's eyes widened, not with fear, but with recognition. the alien boy whispered. They come. The human turned to the trees. His breath caught. Shadows stretched longer. Twisting unnaturally, the forest was no longer silent. It pulsed with strange life. The human realized then that the real hunger of the children was not just for food. It was for something else, something that awakened only when night fell. And as their glowing eyes stared into him, unblinking and endless, he knew this night was only the beginning. The moon climbed slowly above the horizon, casting silver light over the strange village. The human stood in the center of the square, surrounded by glowing crystal lamps and glowing eyes. The children clung close to him, their small hands clutching his coat. Their faces looked calmer now, but their eyes burned brighter than ever. The air felt heavier with each passing moment. The silence of the village was broken only by the whispering wind, carrying voices that did not belong to any human tongue. The traveler strained his ears. He realized the whispers were not only around him, they were inside him, sliding into his mind like faint echoes. The elders raised their hands, marking strange symbols in the air. The crystal lamps flickered, and the ground trembled softly beneath his boots. The traveler felt the weight of unseen eyes pressing from the forest. Watching, waiting, do not fear, the alien girl whispered, still holding onto his sleeve. Her voice was steady despite her small size. They come when the night is full. You gave us food. Now the night will answer. Her words chilled him. He wanted to ask who or what would come, but before he could, a deep sound rolled from the trees, low and steady. Like the breath of some great beast, the forest swayed though no wind touched it. Shadows stretched unnaturally long across the sand, twisting like black fingers reaching for the village. The human's instincts screamed to run, yet the villagers showed no fear. They bowed their heads, eyes shut tight. The children did not move away. Their glowing eyes were locked on the forest as if they waited for a friend, not an enemy. The sound grew louder, shifting into whispers that filled the night. The traveler pressed his hands to his ears, but the voices pierced through, soft yet clear. They spoke not in words he knew, but in feelings, hunger, sorrow, and something older, something vast. The elder stepped forward, his robe glowing faintly. Do not resist them, human. The night speaks through whispers, and you must listen. The human's jaw clenched. He had faced storms, beasts, and battles before. But this was unlike anything. The whispers brushed against his memories, showing him flashes of his own past. A boy crying in hunger, a stranger offering bread. The warmth of kindness in a world of cold. The human staggered, his chest tightening. The alien children gasped softly as though they saw the same vision. Their glowing eyes shimmered like mirrors reflecting his own soul. One boy whispered, "He remembers." The human knelt, catching his breath. He felt the pull of the whispers stronger. They wanted him to give more than food. They wanted his heart, his story, his strength. The forest edge shimmered with faint light. Tiny glowing shapes flickered among the trees, first like fireflies, then growing larger, stretching taller, until figures of pure light emerged. They moved slowly, their forms shifting between shapes, sometimes tall and thin, sometimes small like children. Their whispers filled the air with a chorus that felt like both comfort and threat. The alien elder bowed deeply. "They are here," he said, his voice trembling with awe. "The Watchers of Night." The human stared, his skin prickling. The beings of light drifted closer, their forms blurring but their presence undeniable. They stopped at the edge of the square, circling. Their voices pressed into him. Testing, probing, searching. The alien girl tugged at him again. "Do not turn away, human, you fed us. And because of that, they will test you. If you pass, you will receive the gift. If you fail." Her voice trailed off, but her trembling fingers told him enough. The human rose to his feet, his heart pounded, but he refused to step back. He had come this far. And though fear gnawed at him, he could not abandon these children who clung to him as if he were their shield. The Watchers moved closer, their whispers sharpened, words forming slowly in his mind. "Human, why did you feed them?" The question struck him deep. He opened his mouth, but no sound came. His throat felt dry. He thought of easy answers, pity, duty, survival, but he knew they wanted truth. He closed his eyes, his voice came low, steady. "Because I remember hunger. I remember the pain. I remember when someone gave me food and it saved me. I could not let them suffer the same." The whispers fell silent. The night itself seemed to hold its breath. The glowing beings tilted their heads. Their shapes flickered brighter than before. The children's eyes widened. Some smiled through their exhaustion. The elder's lips moved in prayer. The human felt the whispers sink deeper, testing the truth of his words. His memories replayed sharper than ever. The ache of emptiness, the relief of kindness. The watchers circled him. Their light brushed against his skin. Burning cold and hot at once, his heart raced. Sweat trickled down his temple. He clenched his fists, refusing to fall, refusing to lie. The alien girl's voice cut through the whispers, soft but strong. He speaks true. The beings of light pulsed brighter. Their whispers shifted from sharp to soft, filling the night with a strange harmony. The air hummed with power. The ground glowed faintly under his boots. The human felt it then, a surge of energy flowing toward him, not painful but overwhelming. It filled his chest, his arms, his very bones. He gasped, falling to one knee. The children reached for him, their glowing eyes wide with both fear and awe. The elder spoke again, his voice trembling with reverence. "The test has begun, human. Hold fast, for only when night is complete will the gift be yours." The human clenched his teeth. Forcing himself to stand, his body trembled, but his eyes burned with defiance. He looked at the glowing figures and whispered, "I will not fail." The whispers answered, soft and endless, carrying through the night like 1,000 voices. "We will see." And so, under the pale ghost of the moon and the endless gaze of the children, the human faced the whispers of nightfall, knowing that the true trial had only just begun. The night grew deeper, the stars shone brighter, yet the air felt heavy. The human stood in the circle of stone, surrounded by alien children, elders, and the strange glowing figures that drifted like living fire. Their whispers filled the air, echoing in his mind, testing his strength. The children's glowing eyes never left him. They seemed to wait for something more. Their small hands gripped one another. Afraid but hopeful, the alien elder stepped closer, his voice low and steady. "Human, you have given food, you have given truth. Now the night will give you what you have earned." The human's heart pounded. Sweat ran down his back. His body shook from the strange energy pressing against him. He had felt many trials before, storms, hunger, battle, but nothing like this. This was not against flesh or blade. This was against the soul itself. The glowing beings began to move, circling faster. Their light flickered and surged, the whispers grew louder. Not words this time, but waves of power. The ground inside the stone circle started to glow, faint symbols burning into the sand. The human stumbled but stood tall. He clenched his fists, refusing to fall. The alien girl, her voice small but firm, spoke again. "Do not fight it, let them see you. Let them touch your heart." The human drew in a shaky breath. He opened himself to the strange current. It rushed through him, sharp and cold. Then, burning like fire, visions flooded his mind. His past opened before him. He saw himself as a child, thin and starving. Hiding in the ruins of a broken town, he saw the stranger who once knelt beside him, offering bread and water. He saw the way kindness had saved him. He saw battles fought, friends lost, and the long road that led him here, every choice, every scar, every moment of mercy, all revealed under the burning light. The glowing beings pulsed brighter. Their voices merged into one, deep and commanding. "You carry hunger, you carry loss, yet you choose to give, you choose to feed. This is the path of the protector." The human fell to his knees. Gasping, the children cried out, but the elder raised his hand, stopping them from rushing forward. The test was not finished. The ground beneath him cracked. A burst of blue light shot upward. Wrapping around his arms, the air smelled of lightning. Sharp and alive, sparks danced across his skin, not burning him but filling him with raw power. He stared at his hands, stunned. Tiny arcs of light leapt between his fingers. The elder whispered in awe, "The gift has chosen him." The children gasped, their glowing eyes wider than ever. Some clapped their hands with joy. Others trembled with fear. The human tried to stand, but the power pressed heavy on him, forcing him lower. His heart raced, his breath shallow. He thought for a moment the energy would tear him apart. The alien girl ran forward, placing her small hand on his arm. The sparks danced around her but did not harm her. Her glowing eyes met his, steady and calm. "Do not fear it, human. It will not destroy you if your heart is true." Her touch steadied him. He forced himself upright, his body hummed with strange rhythm. His blood felt alive with fire and light. He raised his hand and the sparks followed, swirling like living threads of lightning. The glowing beings bowed, their forms flickering as though satisfied. Their whispers faded, leaving silence that rang louder than sound. The elder fell to his knees. "It is done, the gift of night has chosen you. You are marked as the protector." The human staggered. Confused but unbroken, he looked at his arm. A glowing symbol burned into his skin, shaped like a circle of stars around a single flame. It pulsed faintly alive. The children rushed forward now, laughing, crying, their hunger forgotten. They touched his hands, their glowing eyes filled with hope. "Protector," they whispered. "Protector." The human looked at them, at their fragile forms. At their endless need, his chest tightened. He had given them bread, but now he realized they had given him something greater. A bond, a duty, the elder stood, his voice firm but heavy. "The gift is not without weight. Human, you carry the power of light, but also its burden to protect, to stand, to face what others cannot. That is what it means to bear this mark." The human nodded slowly. His body still shook with power, but his mind cleared. He understood. This was not a reward, it was a call. The night around the village grew darker. The forest whispered once more. But now the sound carried a different tone. Not only sorrow, not only hunger, but warning. The alien girl pointed toward the mountains, her voice trembling. "They are coming." The human turned. His glowing mark pulsed brighter. The sparks along his skin grew sharp. He felt the power ready, waiting. The elder's face turned grim. "The beasts of night. They always test us when the gift is given, and now, human, it will be your trial." The children huddled behind him, their glowing eyes wide with both fear and trust. The human raised his hand, sparks of light dancing between his fingers. His heart pounded, not with fear but with fierce resolve. The gift was his now, and the night was far from over. The ground shook as the sound of distant roars rolled over the village. The children froze, their glowing eyes wide with terror. The elders dropped to their knees, whispering prayers in their strange language. The human clenched his fists, sparks of blue light running up his arms. The gift pulsed inside him, alive and restless. From the forest edge, shadows moved. Huge shapes shifted between the trees. Eyes like burning coals pierced the darkness. The beasts of night had come, their voices were deep growls, thick with hunger. The air grew colder. The village lights flickered. The elder raised his voice, trembling but clear. "Protector, this is your test. If you cannot stand, the gift will leave you. If you fall, our children fall with you." The human drew a sharp breath. He looked at the children clinging to him, their small hands trembling, their faces pale with fear. He thought of his own past, the times when he had no one to shield him. The mark on his arm burned hotter. The sparks around him grew brighter. The first beast stepped into the light. Its body was massive, covered in scales blacker than night. Its claws cut into the ground with every step. Its mouth dripped with dark liquid that hissed on the sand. The children whimpered. Some tried to hide behind the elders, but their glowing eyes betrayed their fear. The human stepped forward, his heart pounded like a drum. The sparks on his skin leapt into the air, crackling with power. He raised his hand, and the mark glowed like a small star. The beast roared, shaking the very air, and charged. The human braced himself, his body screamed to run, but the gift inside him pushed him to stand. At the last moment, he thrust his hand forward. A burst of blue light shot out, striking the beast in the chest. The force sent it crashing backward into the trees. Sparks exploded in the air. The villagers gasped, the children cheered, but more shadows moved, 2, then 3. Then 5 beasts crawled into view. Their eyes glowed red, their bodies twisted and powerful. They circled the village, snarling. The human's breath grew heavy. He had strength, but could he fight them all? The elder shouted, "It is not only your power they test. Human, it is your worth. They will see your heart." The human's jaw tightened. He faced the beasts, but his mind turned to the children behind him. He could not let them fall, he would not. The first beast lunged again. The human rolled aside, sparks trailing behind him. He struck with both hands, sending arcs of lightning across its body. The creature screamed, its scales burning with blue fire. It collapsed, twitching, before dissolving into smoke, but the others closed in. Their roars deafened the night. The human fought, striking with the gift again and again. Sparks flew like blades, his arms burned with power, yet each attack tore at his strength. His knees buckled, sweat poured down his face. One beast's claw struck his side, throwing him to the ground. Pain seared through him. The children cried out. The alien girl ran forward, but the elder pulled her back. He must face it alone, the elder whispered. Though his voice shook, the beast loomed over the human. Its breath hot and foul. Its red eyes glowed inches from his face. The human gritted his teeth, his body weak but his spirit fierce. He pressed his glowing hand against the beast's chest. The mark on his arm flared, brighter than ever. Memories surged again. He saw himself starving. He saw the stranger feeding him. He saw himself feeding the children. Every moment of kindness, every act of mercy. They filled him. They lifted him. He shouted with all his strength. His voice echoed through the night. I will protect them. The gift answered. The light exploded from his body. Flooding the square, the beast screamed. Its body ripped apart by the force. The other creatures staggered, their glowing eyes dimming. One by one, they howled and fled into the forest. Swallowed by the darkness, silence fell. The air still crackled with energy, but the danger had passed. The children rushed to him. Their glowing eyes filled with joy, they cried, Protector! Protector! Their small hands touched his arms, his shoulders pulling him back to his feet. The human staggered, his body trembling. His side bled where the beast's claw had struck. But the mark on his arm glowed brighter. The pain dulled. The wound closed slowly. The villagers gasped in awe. The elder bowed deeply, his voice heavy with respect. You have faced the test of worth. Human, you did not protect yourself, you protected them. That is why the gift stays with you. The human looked down at the children clinging to him. Their eyes shone like tiny stars. He felt the weight of the gift, heavy yet right. It was not power for himself. It was power to guard them, the alien girl. Her face glowing with both tears and smiles, whispered, We knew you would not leave us. We knew you were the one. The human touched the mark on his arm, still burning with light. His voice was steady, though his body ached. If this is the path, then I will walk it. I will stand for you, for your children. For this night, the forest quieted, the moon shone brighter. The whispers of the watchers drifted faintly once more. He has been chosen, he has been tested, he is worthy. And in that moment, though his body was broken and his strength drained, the human stood taller than ever, protector not only by power but by choice. The village was quiet after the battle, but the quiet was not peace. The human stood in the circle of stone, his chest rising and falling like a storm. The gift burned inside him, fierce and alive. The mark on his arm glowed brighter than the lamps, casting long shadows across the square. The children huddled near him, their glowing eyes filled with awe. Some smiled, others still trembled from fear. They whispered his new name, Protector, over and over, as if the word itself would keep them safe. The elders bowed deeply, their voices soft in prayer. The human side still ached from the beast's strike, but the wound closed faster than he thought possible. The sparks that ran along his skin seemed to knit his flesh together. His body felt stronger, sharper, as if every nerve was awake, every sound was clear. Every breath of wind spoke to him. The elder rose, his silver-threaded robe glowing in the moonlight. The gift has settled, human. You are no longer only a traveler. You are chosen, the human frowned, his voice steady but heavy. Chosen for what? To fight beasts every night? To carry this power until it burns me? The elder's gaze did not waver. The gift is not only power, it is a bond. You hold the strength of the Watchers, but also their burden. It will grow inside you, and it will call to greater enemies. Tonight was only the beginning. The human's jaw tightened. He looked at the forest, dark and endless. A low hum still drifted from it, as though the night itself breathed. He knew the battle was not over. The alien girl stepped closer, her glowing eyes calm. Do not fear, Protector. The gift does not come to those who run from duty. It comes to those who stand. Her words steadied him. He nodded, gripping his arm where the symbol burned like fire. Sparks leapt from his fingertips, forming small lines of light in the air. They hung for a moment before fading. His heart raced. What else could this power do? The villagers began preparing quickly. Moving with purpose, they lit more crystal lamps. Though their glow was weak compared to the mark on his arm, they placed children in the center of the square, forming protective circles around them. The elder approached him again, his voice tense. The beasts you faced were scouts. They test strength, but they are not the true storm. The greater one comes soon, the Nightmaw. It has swallowed protectors before. If you cannot face it, the gift will pass on to another. But the children will not survive. The human's stomach tightened. He had seen great beasts, but the elder's voice held a fear that cut deeper than claws. He looked again at the children, their fragile bodies, their glowing eyes. Their trust in him burned brighter than the power on his skin. He could not allow them to fall. A deep vibration rolled across the ground. The crystal lamps flickered. The villagers froze, staring toward the forest. A massive shadow moved between the trees, branches breaking under its weight. The air grew thick. The stars above seemed to dim. The human felt the gift inside him stir. It wanted to rise, to fight. His veins pulsed with blue light. His breath came faster, the alien girl whispered, her voice trembling but filled with hope. It is here. The Nightmaw emerged from the forest. Its body was vast, larger than the houses. Its hide glistened like molten rock. Black and red, its eyes burned like two suns. Its mouth opened wide, revealing rows of teeth that dripped with shadow. A roar thundered from its throat, shaking the village to its bones. The children screamed, the elders cried out. The human stepped forward. His body hummed with light. Sparks danced wildly across his arms. The mark flared brighter. He felt the gift filling him, urging him to face the impossible. The beast lunged. Its massive claws slammed into the ground. The human raised both hands and the gift surged. A wall of light burst upward, blocking the strike. The ground shook. The village cracked, but the shield held. The children gasped in awe. The human's legs trembled. The power inside him was vast. But it came with weight. He felt his strength draining. Yet the gift demanded more, he shouted. Forcing the sparks to swirl, they gathered above him. Forming a spear of lightning, he hurled it forward. Striking the beast's chest, the Nightmaw staggered. But it did not fall, its roar split the air. Shaking the lamps to pieces, darkness spread from its mouth like a storm. Swallowing the edge of the village, the human's light flickered. But he clenched his fists tighter. Refusing to bend, the elder cried, "Do not fight alone. Protector, remember, the gift is bond, not burden." The human turned. The children's glowing eyes shone like stars. They held hands, whispering in unison. Their voices carried through the night, strange but strong. The human felt their hope pressing into him. Joining with the gift, the sparks on his skin grew steadier, the light stronger. He raised his arms again. The mark pulsed with their strength. His voice thundered, "I will not let you take them." The light burst outward. Brighter than before, the Nightmaw reeled, shadows peeling from its body. It roared again, staggering, but still it pressed forward. The battle was not yet won. The human stood firm. His body burned with exhaustion, but his spirit blazed brighter. This was the night of power, and he would face it until the dawn. The Nightmaw roared again, louder than thunder. Its massive claws tore through the earth, its burning eyes fixed on the human. Shadows poured from its mouth, spreading like black fire across the square. The crystal lamps shattered, leaving only the glow of the mark on the human's arm. The children clung to each other, whispering the word protector as if it were a shield. Their glowing eyes reflected both fear and hope. The elders prayed, their trembling voices carried by the wind. But all eyes were on the human, the only barrier between them and the beast. The human's body shook. His arms burned with the weight of the gift. Sparks flew from his skin. His breath came sharp and heavy. The power inside him surged like a storm, but his strength was fading. His legs nearly buckled under the pressure. Still, he refused to step back. The Nightmaw lunged, its shadowed jaws opened wide. The human raised both hands, the mark flared. A wall of light formed again, stronger than before. The beast struck it, claws raking, teeth biting. Darkness clashed with light. The ground shook so violently that dust rose in waves. The shield cracked. Splinters of blue light burst outward. The human gritted his teeth. Sweat ran down his face, his heart thundered. He could feel the gift draining him, pulling everything he had. Still, he whispered through clenched teeth, "I will protect them. Even if it breaks me." The alien girl ran to the circle's edge, her glowing eyes locked on his. She cried out, "Protector, you are not alone. We are with you." The children raised their voices, soft at first, then stronger. They chanted together, their hands held tight. Their voices carried like a song, strange but beautiful. The gift inside the human pulsed with their rhythm. His light steadied, his knees straightened. The shield grew whole again. The Nightmaw roared in fury. Its darkness pressed harder. Its body swelled, larger, more monstrous. But the humans' light grew too. No longer only his, it was theirs, all of them. The bond of the children, the hope of the village, the strength of a protector. The mark on his arm blazed like a star. His entire body glowed with arcs of lightning. The air hummed. The ground trembled under his power. He felt the gift not as a burden now, but as a fire fueled by every hand he had fed. Every hope he had carried, he shouted, his voice filled with both rage and love. I will not let you take them. The light exploded from him, a wave of blue fire tore through the square. The night maw shrieked, its body split by lightning. Its shadows ripped apart, its massive frame staggered back. Each step shook the earth, but it could not hold. The storm of light engulfed it, tearing it to pieces. The beast roared one final time before collapsing into smoke. The darkness dissolved, the air cleared. The stars shone bright once more. The village square glowed faintly with the last sparks of power. The human fell to his knees, his body weak, his chest heaving. The gift still burned inside him, but softer now, steady instead of wild. He looked at his arm. The mark pulsed gently, alive but calm. The children rushed forward, their glowing eyes filled with joy. They hugged him, laughing and crying. Their voices overlapped. Protector, you saved us, Protector. You are ours. The alien girl knelt beside him, her small hand resting on his shoulder. You gave us food, human, but you gave us more, you gave us hope. And now you gave us safety. The elders bowed low, their robes brushing the ground. We are in your debt, Protector. The gift has not only chosen you, it has bound you to us, to our children, to our future. The human looked at the villagers, their tired faces, their trembling hands, and then at the children whose eyes glowed like stars in the dawn. His chest tightened. He had been a wanderer, a traveler with no home, but here among them, he had found a purpose greater than himself. The horizon lightened. The first rays of dawn cut through the desert sky, washing away the last shadows of night. The village glowed under the sun. The children no longer looked weak or afraid. Their voices were strong, their laughter bright. The elder placed his hand over his heart. The night has passed, Protector. You faced the trial. You bore the burden and you stood. When the dawn comes, you are no longer only a traveler. You are our guardian. The human rose slowly, his body still sore but his spirit unbroken. He gazed at the rising sun. Sparks danced across his fingertips one last time before fading into the light. His voice was steady. If I am Protector, then I will protect not only this night, but every night that comes. The alien girl smiled, her glowing eyes soft. Then we are safe, because dawn always follows the dark. And as the sun climbed higher, the human stood tall among them, the village alive with hope, the children laughing, the elders bowing. He had come as a stranger, but now he remained as more. The protector of the weak, the guardian of the night. And though the forest beyond still whispered with hidden dangers, he knew deep in his heart that whatever came, he would not face it alone.